What is up, everyone? It is officially time. We are here for March freaking Madness. I am so excited. All of the bracketologies that I made this year, all of the conference tournament videos that I made have led to this moment to make out the bracket. Man, oh man, I am hyped. I always feel like a kid at this time and just so excited. But with all that being said, let's predict this bracket. Let's start out with the South region here. Alabama versus Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and SEMO, Southeast Missouri State. You're going to have to go with Alabama, the number one overall seed this season. Congratulations to the Crimson Tide. I'm going with them. And then a good matchup between Maryland versus West Virginia for the classic 8 versus 9 seed game. We all know that these matchups can go either way, but I am going to go with Maryland. I am a Maryland standby. If you've watched my videos this season, I believe in Maryland, and I'm going to go with them to pull off the win over West Virginia. San Diego State versus Charleston. Oh my, this one is a tough one for me to predict here because I believe in San Diego State this season. I believe in this team. I believe in this school. But Charleston went 31-3. I mean, they had an unbelievable season, a heck of a season for Charleston. I don't really know what to do with this one. If I should pull the upset pick, I'm just scrolling down here because you got to go with some upsets here. I am a believer in San Diego State. I think that they're a really good team. You know, some of these it might take a while for me. Okay, I'm going to skip over these two because I am torn on both of these. I'm going to skip over them for a minute. Let's go down to these matchups, which I'm a little bit more sure on. Creighton, I do think, will be able to handle their business against NC State. Don't get me wrong, NC State had a phenomenal year, but the Blue Jays, very solid team. They could score fast. I think that they could beat NC State. And then UC Santa Barbara. When I saw the bracket, I'm like, maybe UC Santa Barbara could pull off the upset. But a well-coached team like Baylor, I don't think they're going to lose to a team like UC Santa Barbara in the first round. I can't go with that crazy of an upset. I'm going to go with the Bears. Missouri versus Utah State, a 7 versus a 10 seed matchup here. As much as I like Utah State this season, I'm a big believer in this team. They got a tough draw, though. 7 seed Missouri, I think, is too good. I'm going with them to win that one. And then Arizona versus Princeton. As much as I like Princeton this year, I'm going with Arizona. See, this UC Santa Barbara, though, one, I could definitely see UC Santa Barbara winning this one. So if you guys want to pull off a crazy upset, do it. But like I said, I just don't see it happening. I'm going with the Baylor Bears. I think that they're going to be able to I honestly think that if you end your season not the greatest, it can be a building piece for you, or it can break you. I think that the Baylor Bears are a team that it's going to build them up, and I think that they could beat UC Santa Barbara to advance. And then we come back here. You know, I'm going to do it. Oh, man. Okay, Virginia versus Furman. Okay, I'm going to have to go with Virginia to advance on. Furman had an excellent season, but I don't think they'll be able to beat Virginia. So I feel like I had no upsets in this region. I got to pull one here. I got to go with Charleston. We're going with the Charleston Cougars here to pull off the win over San Diego State, advance on. San Diego State, heck of a season. Don't get me wrong. They're a really good team. But I'm going to have to go with Virginia in that one. I mean, Charleston. All right. I'm thinking, man, do I want to pull off the upset with Furman? You know what? I might circle back for this one, honestly. You know, if I feel like I need a few more upsets, I might go back for Furman, maybe even UC Santa Barbara, but I am going to keep it right here. Only one upset in the South region in the first round. We're moving on to the Midwest region here. Houston versus Northern Kentucky. The Cougars, the number 2 seed. The second number 1 seed here. I think that they'll be able to beat Northern Kentucky. And then Iowa versus Auburn. Really good 8 versus 9. Another good one. Iowa can get hot in a hurry, but Auburn's a really good defensive team. I think that the Tigers will be able to win that one. But like I said, that one could go either way. I really do like Iowa as a program. Good team, but I'm going to go with Auburn. And then Miami versus Drake. I'm going with the 12 seed upset pick here. I'm going to go with the Bulldogs. These 12 seeds this season, man, they are for real. I'm going with Drake to win this one. I'm a believer in the Bulldogs this season. They're a really good team. They've only lost like one game since January. And don't get me wrong, Miami, really good season. They got beat up in that Duke game. That was a big injury for them. I'm going to go with the Bulldogs there to win that game. Then Indiana versus Kent State. Kent State, I'm scared of this one because I'm an Indiana believer. I am scared that Kent State can win that one. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with Indiana to advance. Kent State, very good season out of the MAC conference. I think that should be a close matchup. All right, down here, Iowa State versus the winner of Mississippi State and Pittsburgh. I do think that Mississippi State can win that one. I'm scouting out some of the other 6-seed up picks here. Yeah, I got to go with Mississippi State here. I'm going to go with the upset. Usually a first 4 team can win this one. I think that Mississippi State is a good team here. I'm picking them to beat Pitt. If Pitt wins that one, I'm not too confident that they could beat Iowa State. Iowa State's kind of a weird team. They could beat anybody in the country in my eyes. But they can also lose to anybody, and that's a big thing for them. And then Xavier versus Kennesaw State, man. I am torn here. Why is Xavier a 3 seed? I have no idea. UConn, one of the reasons, UConn had an excellent year. They become a 4 seed. Xavier lost horribly to Marquette in the Big East tournament, and UConn nearly beat Marquette in the semifinals. So I really don't get this here. This is probably the worst seeding I've seen here in this tournament. Xavier, this is bad. I'm going to be honest. This is bad. Kennesaw State as a 14 seed. You know what? I'm going to do it. I am going with Kennesaw State to pull off the win over Xavier as a 14 seed and advance on to the second round, man. I don't know. Xavier should be a 4 seed. A lot of the 13 seeds I would pick against Xavier. Kennesaw State really had a great year. I think that they can win. And then, freaking good matchup between Texas A&M and Penn State. I have no idea why Texas A&M is a 7 seed. I think that they should be at least a 6 seed. I think they deserve a 5 seed. But man, this is crazy. Penn State almost beat Purdue today. They're getting red hot right now, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Texas A&M is a really good team. I think that they'll be able to win that one. And then Texas versus Colgate, a 2 seed versus a 15 seed here. The Longhorns had a really good season. They won the Big 12. I don't see Colgate winning that one. The Fighting Toothpaste, a good 15 seed. There's a lot of good teams here. Don't count out some of these teams here with the 15 seeds and the 14 seeds, but I think that Texas will have enough to win. Okay, I'm coming back here, and I'm switching this actually, guys. I'm picking San Diego State to win that one. It's a full-on chalk region in the first round. I see that. I'm going with Furman. They play great. I'm a Virginia hater, you could say. One of these guys in my comments just keeps saying that you're a Virginia hater. If you're watching this video, dude, I will admit I'm a Virginia hater. I do not believe in this team. I've got to have at least one upset pick in the South region here. I cannot go full chalk. Furman is a very good 13 seed. I think that they can win. I am flipping this up. San Diego State, really good team. Don't get me wrong. Charleston could pull off that upset, but I'm going with San Diego State. I believe in that team. All right, down in the West region here, Kansas versus Howard. Not Howard, yeah. Not Howard or whatever I was trying to say there. But the Jayhawks, I think, deserve it over Houston. This is big because Jayhawks would have home field advantage in the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight, and that might come back to bite them, honestly. I am going with Kansas, though, in that matchup as the 1 seed. And then we got Arkansas versus Illinois, a really good matchup. We had this matchup a few times in the bracketologies. And if I had to pick one, though, I'm going to go with the Fighting Illini. I'm a believer in this team. They're a really good, solid team out of the Big Ten. I'm going to go with them to win. Arkansas, a lot of talent, but they're inconsistent. I think that they could lose. St. Mary's versus VCU. Okay, my reasoning earlier was that St. Mary's is an experienced team that they can come back with. VCU, man. I picked St. Mary's to win in the last bracketology, my last one. But VCU, man, really good team. I'm going with them. They've played excellent in the A-10. I'm not a believer in St. Mary's. Connecticut versus Iona. I'm going with UConn in this one to advance past Iona. Really good UConn team there. Iona, obviously a good 13 seed, well-coached team, but I think UConn's better there. Home field advantage for both those teams in that one. I believe, that's the New York one. But TCU versus Arizona State or Nevada. I'm a believer in Nevada. A lot of people say they should not be in the field. I think they should. I'm a believer in this team. They had an excellent year. I know they lost 3 straight to finish off the year, but it's about your whole season, not just the final games. And TCU, excellent 6 seed. As much as I like Nevada, I do think that they would be able to beat Arizona State. Arizona State, if they win that one, they're a really good team as well. This game could go either way. But I love TCU, man. They're a really good team. I'm going with them to win that one. And Gonzaga, I do think can hold off Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon, good 14 seed, but I do think they'll lose that one. Then Northwestern versus Boise State, a 7 versus a 10 seed. Boise State had a really good year out of the Mountain West Conference. Yeah, I'm going to go with the 10 seed. I'm going to go with Boise State to win this one. Northwestern, obviously it's been a really freaking good year at Northwestern, but they're kind of getting cold lately, and Boise State, I think, will be able to win that one. UCLA, I do think, can hold off. UNC Asheville also had a freaking good year in their conference. All right, so there is that region. Let's go to the East. Purdue versus Texas Southern or Florida Fairleigh Dickinson. I'm going with Fairleigh Dickinson in that game, but the Boilermakers, I do think, will be able to advance on. Memphis versus Florida Atlantic, a 8 seed versus a 9 seed. Really good matchup between Florida Atlantic and Memphis. I probably would take all of these teams over any of the other seeds, but unfortunately, they have to play in the first round. Memphis just beat Houston in the final game. Florida Atlantic is having a 31-win season. Unbelievable that these two are playing here. Man, it's just tough draws, but I'm going to have to go with the Memphis Tigers. I really do like Florida Atlantic. They had a heck of a season, but Memphis is too good there. I think they'll be able to win. Duke versus Oral Roberts, a 5 seed versus a 12 seed in this game. Oral Roberts, man, I love the Oral Roberts. I've been Oral Roberts standby this whole season long, but Duke, they're heating up, and they're heating up good right now. I think that Duke will be able to win that one. And then we got a 13 seed, Louisiana versus Tennessee. The SEC, Tennessee, has kind of played bad as of late. But look, I have no 5 seeds versus a 4 seed. I think Tennessee's a well-coached team. Louisiana could pull off this upset. Tennessee has struggled as of late. I am going to pick Tennessee, though, in this one. I think that they could get upset. Louisiana, good team, but I think that any of the other 13 seeds are better with maybe not, Furman, Kent State, Iona, Tennessee. Don't get me wrong, you had a heck of a year, but out of the Sun Belt, but I don't think it's going to be enough to beat Tennessee. And then we got Kentucky versus Providence, and I will have to go with the Wildcats in that one. Providence had a good season. I have been a believer in the past in Providence, but they're just too inconsistent, and Kentucky's a really freaking good team. And then Kansas State, I do think, will be able to handle their business against Montana State. Michigan State against USC. A 7 seed versus a 10 seed here. I'm going with, I have no upsets in this region. I have to go with USC. I got to get at least one here, and USC also a very good team there. And then Marquette, I do think we'll be able to beat Vermont. Okay, so we're 13 minutes in the video here, or 14 now. Yeah, it's been, if these are long videos, my March Madness predictions. But anyway, Purdue versus Memphis, a 1 seed versus an 8 seed. I'm going with Memphis. Going to be a popular upset in the tournament. Either one, Florida Atlantic wins. I think that they could beat Purdue. But Memphis, I think, will beat Florida Atlantic and beat Purdue to advance to the Sweet 16. Purdue's just kind of turned it off late. I'm a believer in Memphis this season. I did this in my bracketology last time. I think that Memphis can win. I am going to go Duke over Tennessee. Tennessee may be able to get past Louisiana, but I don't see them getting past Duke really at all. I'm going with the Blue Devils. Kentucky versus Kansas State. Really a battle of the Wildcat teams. Kentucky Really good team this season. I could see Kentucky winning this game, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going with Kansas State, a 3 seed to advance. And then Marquette versus USC. You got to go with Marquette, the Golden Eagles. All right, so in this region, TCU versus let's actually start up here. Kansas versus the Fighting Illini. I will see the Jayhawks advancing on there. Fighting Illini, good team, but I don't think they'll be able to win. Connecticut, I think, will be able to beat VCU. VCU beating St. Mary's is a good year, but I'm going to go with UConn in that game. And then TCU versus Gonzaga, a 6 seed, I think will win this game with TCU pulling off the win over the Zags. Don't get me wrong, Gonzaga had an excellent season. They played great. Really got a hot at the end of the year, but man, I am a believer in TCU. Gonzaga is a Sweet 16 caliber team, don't get me wrong, but TCU, I'm a believer in them. I think that they can win. They've had an excellent year. And then UCLA versus Boise State, I will have to go with UCLA in that one. They are missing their star guard. He got injured, but I'm going to go with UCLA. Okay, Houston versus Auburn, a 1 seed versus a 9 seed in the Midwest region. I will have to go with Houston, the Cougars, to win that game over Auburn. They're missing Sasser, so could this be a potential upset for Auburn? It could be. Houston, but I do believe in Houston. I think they'll be able to prevail. And Sasser, I'm not sure when he comes back. If Sasser's not there, I could flip this game last minute, but I am going to go with Houston. Indiana versus Drake. Now, this is where we could see a 12 seed in Drake and the Bulldogs pull off the upset. Okay, I have to do it. I'm going with Drake. I'm a believer in Indiana all season long. But guess what, man? They're an inconsistent team. And against Drake and Kent State, the Bulldogs. Man. Yeah, I got to do it. Let's get crazy. I love you, Indiana. I've been picking you all season long, but I just don't know if I have enough confidence at this point in them. The way they've been losing to some of these worst teams. They're just inconsistent. And I'm going to go with Drake to win that one. And then the weird, wonky matchup, Mississippi State versus Kennesaw State. I will have to go with Mississippi State, the 11 seed out of the first 4. Now, Kennesaw State, I could definitely see a 14 seed there winning because Mississippi State's playing 2 games over and Kennesaw State's only played 1 against Xavier. But Mississippi State's the better team. I'm going with them. Or actually, I could go crazy and go Kennesaw State, but I'm having trouble with this bracket here. But let's get crazy with it. I'm going Kennesaw State to go to the Sweet 16. Why the frick not? 14 seed. Like I said, Mississippi State's going off 2 first 4 games. Honestly, I think that Kennesaw State is an easier matchup against Xavier than Iowa State. As a team, I would pick Iowa State to advance on past Kennesaw State there. But I would pick Iowa State to beat Xavier. But I think that the 2 games for Mississippi State's going to be problematic. And Kennesaw State, why the frick not? There's always a crazy team that goes to the Sweet 16 late, especially recently. I'm going to go all in Kennesaw State. I was not expecting to say that before the selections show, but I'm doing it. All right, but then Texas versus Texas A&M. I will have to go with the Longhorns to win that one. As much as I like Texas A&M, I don't think it's going to be enough. All right, and then in the South region here, Alabama versus Maryland. I am going to go with the Crimson Tide to win that one. They're just a really freaking good team in the SEC. I'm a believer in Maryland. I have always been, but I don't think it's going to be enough in that game. Do I have any Big Ten teams? No, I have no Big Ten teams in the Sweet 16. That's pretty crazy. And yeah, we have I did not realize that till now, but that is insane. No Big Ten teams. I'm flipping it. I'm going Indiana. I'm sorry. I don't know. Indiana, I'm a believer in. San Diego State, I do think will be able to beat Furman in that matchup. And then I already selected this between Creighton and Baylor. If San Diego State, by the way, if they can get past Charleston, if Charleston wins, I'm going with them. But if San Diego State could get past Charleston, I don't think they'll have any problem against Furman. Like I said, apparently I'd already picked this, but I'm going to go with the Baylor Bears to win this one. I think that they'll be able to win. But Creighton, I could see the Blue Jays pulling off that upset, but I'm not going to have it happen. Arizona, I do think will be able to beat Missouri, though, and advance on. All right, so into the Sweet 16 we go. Let's just finish out to the Elite Eight, to the Final Four here. Alabama versus San Diego State. I will go with the Crimson Tide to advance to the Elite Eight. As much as I like San Diego State this season, I don't think it's going to be enough. It's pretty risky with Charleston waiting right there to advance into the Sweet 16 anyway. And then Baylor versus Arizona. I think that Arizona is going to be able to beat Baylor. And then we got a matchup for the Final Four between Arizona and Alabama. Alabama's heating up right now in the SEC. Don't get me wrong, Alabama, really good team, but when is the last time the number one overall seed in the tournament has won in it? I don't even remember. And Arizona, man, I'm a believer in Arizona. I am getting them to the Final Four here as the 2 seed. All right, Houston versus Indiana, a 1 seed versus a 4 seed. Now, this is where I pick Indiana. I'm not sure if Sasser is going to be in this game. It is risky, man. I am going all in Indiana. I believe in this team, though. I believe in them. I picked Drake to win, but I do believe in Indiana. I believe in them. So I'm going to go with them to beat Houston and advance on to the Sweet 16. Or do I flip it? I'm torn with all these picks here. I don't remember the last time it's been so hard picking a bracket in the tournament, but this one has just been that. All right, but then Texas, I do think will be able to beat Kennesaw State in that one. You know, if Sasser's back, I got to go with Houston. I got to go with Houston. I'm sorry. Yeah. No. Let's just keep Indiana. Final choice. I'm just, for this bracket, I'm doing it. I might flip it around when I do it. As time goes on, I might flip it around. But I'm going to do it. Indiana, win that one. Where we got Texas versus Indiana, the team to come out of the Midwest region. The Longhorns, man. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Texas. Another 2 seed winning, the team that won the Big 12. So we got the Pac-12 champion and the Big 12 champion advancing. So then we got Kansas versus Connecticut. And as much as I like Connecticut this season, they got a tough draw in my eyes. I do believe in this Connecticut team, but against the Jayhawks. This is their same seed last season where they made the Final Four. Or won the championship game. They were the number 3 1 seed. So watch out for Kansas. And I do think that they can beat Connecticut. But I could see that one going either way. Maybe I flip these around as the tournament goes on. Maybe I go Houston. Maybe I go Indiana. Maybe I go UConn. Maybe I go Kansas. I mean, just 2 freaking good teams. I love both these teams, but I'm going to go with the Jayhawks. And then TCU will beat UCLA to advance on to the Elite Eight. I'm a believer in the Horned Frogs this season. UCLA, I don't know about UCLA. They lost their point guard, and TCU, man, they could lose to Gonzaga. Whoever wins this game, I think, is going to the Elite Eight. But TCU, I'm a believer. I think that is a Big 12 team. They'll be able to win. So we have 3 Big 12 teams already in the Elite Eight. Can we get another one? All right. Let's predict the Final Four. Kansas versus TCU, a 1 seed versus a 6 seed. Oh, my. I want to pick TCU. Okay, I have to flip back. Okay. Duke versus Memphis, a 5 seed versus the 8 seed. And I'm going with the Blue Devils, catching fire as of late. Memphis, really good team. I could see them pulling off the win, but I'm going to go with Duke. And then I am a believer in Kansas State all season long. But against Marquette, they're playing really good basketball as of late. I got to go with the Golden Eagles. Then we got Duke versus Marquette, and I'm going to go with Duke. The 5-seeded Duke to the Final Four. Duke, I would not, a few weeks ago, I would probably say you're crazy to pick Duke in the Final Four. But I think that, they're heating up right now as a 5 seed. I don't think I can go with 3 number 2 seeds in the Final Four there. I don't think that's going to happen. All right, Duke, I'm going to go in Duke. But then Kansas, TCU, 2 teams that I believe in a lot, 2 teams that are freaking good in the Big 12. Okay, honestly, I got to check. I don't know. I got to check real fast. These 2, how these two played earlier this year, I don't remember. All right, so in February, Kansas beat TCU on the road by 5. In January, TCU won by 13 at home at Kansas. Unbelievable, man. When it is very rare for a number 1 seed to not make the Final Four. And that's why I'm debating going Kansas. But this is a not your ordinary year. I'm going with 6-seeded TCU to beat the Jayhawks and advance on to the Final Four. Oh wow. Oh my gosh, dude. Why am I so torn on this bracket? I cannot decide, guys. These are like some of the hardest matchups in an NCAA tournament that I've seen in a long time, man. Oh my goodness. Oh. I got to go Kansas because I could see TCU lose. I could see Kansas losing as well, though. That's the thing about these. I got to go with Kansas, though. I know they just got wrecked in the Big 12 championship to Texas, but I will go with the Jayhawks. Bill Self is back. I have to go Kansas there. All right, so in the Final Four, we have two seeds in Arizona and Texas. We have a 5 seed in Duke and a 1-seeded Kansas Jayhawks. My, oh my. I would say that's pretty crazy. If TCU was in, that would be an even bigger Final Four. But Arizona versus Duke, 2 seed versus a 5 seed. I will go with Arizona. I'm a believer in Arizona. I think that they can win. And then Texas versus Kansas, a 1 seed versus a 2 seed. Texas has just dominated the Jayhawks like 3 times in a row. I'm not sure actually what happened in the Berg, but 2 times in a row. All I know is that to go to the championship game, and I'm gonna go with the Jayhawks or the Longhorns. Yeah, I'm gonna go Jayhawks. I cannot see Bill Self losing to the Texas Longhorns 2 times in a row. They'll be ready for this one. Texas matches up well against Kansas, we've seen, but I think that Kansas would be able to win this one. So then we have, and this is crazy, we could have TCU. I mean, almost picked TCU, but we got Kansas in the national championship game where they will play Arizona. And guys, I am giving it to Arizona. I did it in my final bracketology. I am doing it again. I am going with Arizona to win the national championship. Did it last year, but they lost in the Sweet 16. Could this be another year like that? I think that they can learn from it, though. I'm a believer in Arizona. Don't get me wrong. Kansas Jayhawks I could see winning this game as well, but I think Arizona will handle on. So very long March Madness predictions video, guys. I got to get through those picks there. But thank you all for watching my video today. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the content. Comment down below your predictions, your thoughts. So hyped for Thursday and Tuesday, actually, when the games start. It's going to be epic. But anyway, peace out.